The sky above Kaeldar was never still. It shimmered like liquid glass, streaked with silver lightning that never struck the ground but whispered across the heavens like ancient voices arguing. Beneath it stood the Iron Clans, warriors born not of flesh alone, but of legacy, ritual, and steel. Among them, none were more feared than Commander Lyra Vex. She was known as the Unbroken Blade. No one had ever defeated her. No one had ever even made her step back. Her sword, Veilrin, was said to be older than the clans themselves. Forged from a fallen star, it responded only to those of pure bloodline. It never glowed, not once in recorded history, until the day everything changed. The arrival. The stranger fell from the sky, not in a ship, not in armor, just falling. He crashed into the sacred training grounds of Clan Virex, where Lyra had been sparring with her elite guard. The impact cracked the black stone beneath him, sending dust and sparks into the air. Every warrior drew their weapon instantly. Lyra didn't. She simply stepped forward, her piercing silver eyes fixed on the man lying in the crater. He groaned, rolling onto his back. Human. Clearly human. No armor. No insignia. No weapon. "Where am I?" he asked, his voice strained. Lyra tilted her head slightly. "You stand on ground where outsiders do not survive." The guards moved closer. "Kill him," one of them said. But Lyra raised a hand. "No." The single word froze them all. She stepped into the crater and extended her hand, not to help him up, but to inspect him. "You fell from the sky," she said. "Yet you carry no burn, no fracture. Explain." The man blinked, confused. "I don't remember." Lyra studied him for a long moment. Then she made a decision that would ripple across every clan on Kaeldar. Bring him with us. The trial of worth. His name, he claimed, was Aaron. That was all he knew. No past. No purpose. To the clan, that made him dangerous. To Lyra, it made him interesting. "You will stand trial," she told him as they entered the fortress carved into obsidian cliffs. "All who enter our lands must prove their worth, or die." Aaron swallowed hard but nodded. "Then tell me what I need to do." Lyra gestured to the massive arena at the heart of the fortress. "Survive." The trial began at dusk. Hundreds gathered in the stands. Warriors, elders, children, all watching. Aaron stood alone in the center, unarmed. Across from him stood a seasoned fighter, Karan, a veteran of 30 battles. "This is madness," one elder muttered. "The human will die in seconds." Lyra said nothing. She simply watched. The horn sounded. Karan charged. Aaron barely had time to react. He stumbled backward, narrowly avoiding the first strike. The second came faster, slicing across his shoulder. Blood spilled. Gasps filled the arena. But then something strange happened. Aaron moved. Not clumsily, not randomly, but instinctively. He dodged the next attack with impossible precision. Then another. And another. His movements were fluid, almost familiar. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Karan grew frustrated, swinging harder, faster. But Aaron adapted each time, his body responding as though it remembered something his mind did not. Finally, in a desperate move, Karan lunged. Aaron stepped aside, and with nothing but his bare hand, he struck Karan's wrist. The sword fell. Silence. Absolute silence. No one disarmed Karan. No one. Aaron stood there, breathing heavily, staring at his own hands as if they didn't belong to him. Lyra rose slowly from her seat. Enough. The sword that never glowed. Days passed. Aaron was allowed to live, but under constant watch. Lyra found herself drawn to him in ways she did not understand. "You fight like one of us," she said one evening as they stood overlooking the stormlit horizon. I don't know how, Aaron admitted. It just happens. Lyra studied him carefully. Then, after a long pause, she did something no one had ever seen before. She unsheathed Veilrin. The blade shimmered faintly in the dim light, cold and silent as always. Touch it, she said. Aaron hesitated. You said it only responds to your bloodline. I did. Then why? Because I want to see what happens. He stepped closer, his heart pounding. Slowly, cautiously, he reached out. His fingers brushed the hilt. And the world changed. The blade ignited. Not with fire, but with light. Blinding, radiant, alive. The entire fortress trembled. Warriors rushed in from every direction. Lyra's grip tightened instinctively, but the sword wasn't responding to her. It was responding to him. Aaron staggered back, eyes wide. I didn't do anything, but the blade pulsed brighter. And then, it sang. A deep, resonant tone that echoed across the land. Every warrior in the fortress froze. Then, one by one, they knelt. The legend awakens. No, one elder whispered, trembling. It cannot be. Lyra turned sharply. Speak. The elder's voice shook. The prophecy. The first bearer. Lyra's eyes flicked back to Aaron, who stood frozen, the glowing sword between them. Explain, she demanded. The elder swallowed hard. Before the clans were formed, before the swords were forged, there was one who carried the original flame. The one who could awaken the star metal itself. That's myth, Lyra snapped. It was, the elder said. Until now. Aaron looked between them, confused. What are you saying? Lyra stepped closer, her voice low and intense. I'm saying that sword has never reacted to anyone. Not even me. And now it's responding to you. But I'm human. Not entirely, the elder whispered. The truth beneath memory. That night, Aaron began to dream. Not random fragments, but memories. He saw a world unlike Kaeldar, advanced, gleaming, filled with towering structures and glowing skies. He saw himself different, stronger, older. He saw scientists, machines, and a single phrase repeated over and over. The vessel must awaken. He woke with a gasp. Lyra was there instantly. You saw something. Aaron nodded slowly. I think I was sent here. By who? I don't know, but I don't think I'm just a person. Lyra crossed her arms. Then what are you? Aaron looked at his hands again. I think I'm a weapon. The war that followed. Word spread fast. Faster than Lyra could contain it. Other clans heard of the glowing sword, of the human who made warriors kneel. And they came, not to greet him, to claim him, or destroy him. The first attack came at dawn. Explosions shattered the outer walls. Warships descended from the storm clouds. Lyra stood at the front lines, her sword drawn. Stay behind me, she told Aaron. But he shook his head. I don't think I can anymore. The enemy surged forward. Blades clashed. Energy weapons fired. Chaos. And in the middle of it all, Aaron stepped forward. The glowing sword lifted into his hand as if it had always belonged there. Lyra's breath caught. Aaron, don't. But it was too late. One cut. The enemy commander charged, wielding a massive warblade. Aaron didn't hesitate. He stepped forward, raised the sword, and struck. Just once. The world split. A wave of light erupted from the blade, tearing through the battlefield like a storm made of stars. Weapons disintegrated. Ships fell from the sky. The ground itself trembled as the energy surged outward. And then, silence. The entire army was gone. Not dead. Not wounded. Just gone. Erased. Aaron stood in the center of the devastation, the sword dimming in his hand. He looked down at it, horrified. What did I just do? The ending, the kneeling of a world. The battlefield was quiet. Too quiet. Smoke drifted through the air, curling around shattered stone and fallen banners. The once mighty invading army had vanished as if it had never existed. No bodies, no wreckage, no trace beyond the faint echo of power that still lingered like a ghost. Aaron stood at the center of it all. The sword in his hand flickered, its light fading slowly, like a dying star. I didn't mean to, he whispered. His voice felt small in the vast silence. Lyra approached him carefully, her boots crunching against the fractured ground. For the first time in her life, she hesitated. Not out of fear, but out of something deeper. Uncertainty. You didn't just defeat them, she said quietly. You erased them from existence. Aaron looked at her, shaken. That's not possible. It is now. He shook his head, stepping back slightly. Then, I'm dangerous. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be anywhere near your people. Lyra studied him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she did something no one had ever seen before. She knelt. Gasps rippled across the battlefield. The warriors of Clan Virex, those still standing, those who had fought beside her for years, froze in disbelief. Their commander, their undefeated leader, kneeling. To someone who doesn't even know what he is? One soldier whispered. Lyra's voice cut through the silence. You are no longer an outsider, she said, her head bowed slightly. The blade has chosen you, and by our laws that makes you the first bearer reborn. Aaron stared at her, stunned. I didn't ask for this. No one ever does, she replied calmly. One by one, the warriors began to kneel. First the elite guard, then the veterans, then the entire clan. Thousands of warriors, feared across Kaeldar, bowed their heads before a man who had fallen from the sky with no memory of who he was. Aaron's chest tightened. This is wrong, he said. I'm not your leader. I'm not your savior. Lyra looked up at him, her eyes steady. No, she said. You're something far more dangerous than that. A choice that changes everything. The storm above Kaeldar began to shift. For the first time in centuries, the silver lightning stilled. The sky cleared. A faint glow spread across the horizon, soft, golden, unfamiliar. Aaron noticed it first. What is that? Lyra followed his gaze. Her breath caught. Sunlight. The word felt foreign on her tongue. Kaeldar had never known sunlight. Not like this. The clans had lived under storm and shadow for as long as history remembered. But now, the sky was changing. Because of him. Aaron tightened his grip on the sword. I think I was sent here to do more than fight. Lyra rose slowly to her feet. Then what will you do? Aaron looked out across the land, the kneeling warriors, the broken battlefield, the sky beginning to heal. I could rule, he said quietly. Force every clan to obey me. End all wars in a single command. Lyra said nothing. Or, he continued, his voice softer now, I could destroy everything. If I lose control again, there might not be anything left to save. And the third option? Lyra asked. Aaron met her gaze. I walk away. The words hit harder than any weapon. You would leave, she asked. I don't trust what I am, he admitted. Not yet. If I stay, I become something your people depend on. And if I fall, they fall with you, Lyra finished. Aaron nodded. The final moment. The wind shifted. The last remnants of storm clouds parted, revealing a sky no one on Kaeldar had ever seen. Clear. Endless. Alive. Aaron took a step back. Then another. The sword in his hand began to dim further, its glow receding into a quiet pulse. Lyra stepped forward instinctively. "If you leave, will you come back?" Aaron paused. For a long moment, he didn't answer. Then he said, "When I know what I am and what I'm meant to do, I will." Lyra studied him carefully. Then she gave a single, firm nod. "Then we will wait." Aaron looked at the kneeling warriors one last time. "Stand," he said. They hesitated. "Please," he added. Slowly they rose. Not out of command, but out of respect. Aaron turned toward the horizon. The light was growing stronger now, spreading across the land like a promise. He took one final breath and walked. Step by step, he moved away from the battlefield, away from the clan, away from the power that had nearly consumed him. No one followed. No one spoke. They simply watched. The legacy begins. Hours passed. The sun fully rose over Kaeldar. For the first time in its history, the world saw itself clearly. The scars of war, the beauty beneath the destruction, the possibility of something more. Lyra stood at the edge of the cliff, watching the path Aaron had taken until he disappeared beyond the horizon. One of her captains approached. "What are we now?" he asked. Lyra didn't look away. "We are no longer just warriors," she said. "Then what?" She smiled faintly. "We are witnesses to the beginning of something greater." Far in the distance, beyond the lands of the clans, Aaron walked alone. The sword at his side was quiet now, but not gone. Never gone. He could feel it waiting for the moment he would understand, waiting for the moment he would return. Because one cut hadn't just ended a battle. It had awakened a power that could reshape an entire world. And when that power rose again, nothing would ever be the same.